William Eklund is going to be a superstar in this league. And if you don't believe me, I don't know what to tell you. The Good Vibe Sharks continue to be good vibes as they win 2-1 over the Winnipeg Jets.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, contributor at San Jose Hockey Now, and I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of the Locked On Network, we cover your team every day. And if you want to be an everydayer, all you have to do is just follow along wherever you get podcasts, or you can watch on YouTube as well, or do both. Both is great. And today we're going to be talking about how our Swedish son is growing up before our eyes and is going to be a superstar in the NHL. People on the East Coast, they don't know yet, but William Eklund is going to be a superstar in the NHL. We're going to be discussing that. We're going to look at the analytics and stats from this game and how the Sharks kind of came out like a ball on fire. Let the Jets come back into it, but were clutch at the end and when they needed to be. And, of course, talk about the latest on Logan Couture as he met with the media today for the first time in nearly 2 months. So before we get into all that, do want to let you guys know that today's episode is brought to you guys by GameTime. Download the GameTime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Ladies and gentlemen, people of the NHL, it's slippery Pete season. William Eklund is gonna be a superstar. He has everything you want, right? Of course, skilled. We've seen the skill. He's got a little bit of that edge and that tenacity. He's plenty of speed, but the clutch factor, right? The clutch factor with William Eklund, and we are seeing it every night now. Whenever the Sharks need something big, he is in the middle of it, creating something big. And he did it again tonight with his game-winning goal, fourth of the season, 4 game-winning goals. The Sharks, just a reminder, of 9 wins on the season. He has 4 of their game-winning goals. Guys, he's going to be a special player in this league. And ever since the draft, right? On this very podcast, summoning William Eklund to come to San Jose. A lot of people worried, he doesn't shoot, he can't score. I think we can knock those out. We can get rid of that, right? We've seen Eklund as he now has 7 goals on the season this year. And again, 4 of them game-winning goals. Maybe he's not big enough. Doesn't have the, physicality. We're seeing that night in, night out where Eklund continuing to just isn't afraid to mix it up and get messy and mix it up with guys on the forecheck, stealing pucks from people, just everything you can ask for. And his journey has been a bumpy one, right? That season after he got drafted with Newgarden, where he didn't score a goal in the entire regular season. Comes over to the AHL right last year, hurt his shoulder in October, played through it until he was eventually knocked out last year and had to get shoulder surgery. But you're seeing a healthy William Eklund who is ready to take the belt as the soon-to-be next Sharks superstar, right? Sharks fans, we've been blessed with many superstars, like, the Joe Thorntons, Joe Pavelskis, Patrick Marleau's, Brent Burns, Erik Karlsson's, Logan Couture. We've had plenty, Tomas Hertls, right? Plenty of stars. Eklund is ready by the end of the season, Eklund's going to be a household name in the NHL. And yes, playing on the West Coast is going to be that disadvantage, but people are going to start to notice the way he's doing things and the way he is helping to drag this team to relevance, right? Especially with the way this season started. The Sharks, we were a laughing stock, right? Going 0 for 11 to start this season. Now the good vibe Sharks are here. And William Eklund is a huge reason. And yes, other guys, Mikael Granlund has been playing great. Tomas Hertl has been, outstanding this season. Anthony Duclair, the goaltending, right? But young 21-year-old William Eklund is going to be at the forefront. He is going to be the next Sharks superstar. And we deserve this as Sharks fans, right? It's been a rough 4 years now since the getting knocked out by the Blues. It's been all downhill since that moment, losing in the Western Conference Finals to the Blues. And we deserve nice things. And William Eklund is a nice thing. And if I don't know what to tell you, if you don't think he's going to be a superstar, the kid's got everything you want. And he's 21. He's 21 years old, playing his first full season in the NHL. And you can see those little flashes of just superstar brilliance from him. Eklund's going to be a star, man. I guarantee it. He's going to be a star. That's how confident I am in William Eklund and his abilities and just his makeup of the game and his ability to think the game, putting everything together. William Eklund is going to be a superstar. So some other bright highlights from tonight as these Sharks continue their good vibes is McKenzie Blackwood, I thought, had a great game tonight. And a weird game for McKenzie Blackwood, right? Two kind of equipment malfunctions, right? His skate blade gets knocked off. He has a piece of his helmet go flying off, from a shot. But it's been a little bit since we had that McKenzie Blackwood game that we've kind of seen at the beginning of the season. And he continued to, kind of put his name back out there. Like, hey guys, don't forget, I've been playing really well this season. I know Kaapo Kähkönen has gotten the shine lately. Blackwood was, let everyone know that we're back out here. And just hats off to Justin Bailey. His first NHL goal since March 2018 when he was with the Buffalo Sabres. Just think back how long ago that March 2018. Grinding, AHL, they went through all the teams he's been on the AHL, multiple, NHL teams, and get through what he's been playing really, even this year, right? Doesn't even gets an invite, then an AHL contract, and then finally earns an NHL contract with the way he's been playing. And he has been outstanding for the Sharks. A great find for him. Congratulations to Bale. I know it must feel great to kind of finally get that monkey off the back for him, not having scored in the NHL. He scored plenty in the AHL, right? But earning his opportunity in the NHL and now making the most of it. When everyone's healthy and full, when the Sharks start to finally get all their pieces back, it's going to be really hard to take Justin Bailey out of the lineup because he has been one of the Sharks' best forwards. His speed is a difference-making ability on the Sharks and something that, as they try to get younger and faster, his speed is going to continue to, allow him to separate, no pun intended, but from some of the other guys in the bottom six right now. And guys worked hard. He deserved that goal, right place at the right time. But and continuing to see, Hertl being just Tomas Hertl, right? Just kind of putting the team on his back when he needs to. Mikael Granlund was an absolute dog tonight, especially on the penalty kill. There was one of the penalty kill shifts where he's on the ground twice in 20 seconds trying to get the puck out, blocking shots, gets back up, is poking the puck out, just has embodied this good vibe Sharks of we're not going to say die. We're going to keep going. We're going to kind of keep pushing through any adversity. And Granlund has been a huge part of this turnaround for the Sharks. But before we get into the numbers and kind of what this game looked like, the Sharks offense starting to come alive here at 5v5 against a very good Winnipeg team. And then we're going to talk about Logan Couture and kind of what he's going through as he talked to the media for the first time today. So we'll get into that here in just 1 second. If you want to buy tickets for your next big event, maybe you're trying to buy something, a nice present for someone who loves to go to comedy shows, sports, music, theaters. It's holiday season right now. Game Time is the way to go. They have killer last minute deals. So if you're like me and maybe a little bit of a last minute shopper, they have all in prices, views from their seats, and the best price guaranteed. Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets. The thing I love about Game Time is you get to see where you're going to sit before you buy the tickets. That way, you know you're going to have a great view. Nothing worse than getting there and realizing you have bad tickets. Actually, the only thing worse than getting there and realizing you have bad tickets is when you go to checkout and they slam a bunch of fees on you. Game Time does not do that. They show you the pricing all up front so you know exactly what you're going to pay when you go to checkout. You can buy your tickets in seconds with 2 taps. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code LOCKEDONNHL, LOCKEDON NHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, let's get into the numbers for this game. Sharks came out, like I said, dominating the Jets, and I think it was a 12-1 or 12-2 shot advantage, in the first 5 to 10 minutes. And credit to the Jets, they worked their way back into this game. And the Jets are a very good team, right? This is a team that is among the top teams of the Central right now. Depending on when you look in the standings, they're either kind of first, second, or third. That Central is a crazy bunch right now. But the Sharks, they let the Jets kind of get back into it. They score a goal. Jets were kind of controlling it. But again, when the Sharks needed to kind of come up with something big, they earn a penalty and then take advantage on the power play. And, if you saw my preview clip or, in my takeaways or my kind of keys to the game I put out on social, I mentioned the power play, right? The Sharks had the better power play in this game, and that was a big difference. The Sharks went 1 for 3, and the Jets went 0 for 5, and the game was 2-1. So, but looking at 5-on-5, Sharks Jets 45 to 51 shot attempts in favor of the Jets, so 53.12 to 46.88 Corsi for favor of the Jets. Actual shots at 5v5 is 26 to 28 in favor of the Jets, so pretty even, and that kind of tells the tale of this game. Very even back and forth game. Scoring chances 29 to 29 evenly there. 12 to 13 high danger chances in favor of the Jets. And then expected goals for 2.92 to 2.88 in favor of the Sharks at 5v5. And that first period for the Sharks, 1.36 expected goals for, and a 1.41 expected goals for. And then the third period, they kind of went dormant there again. A little bit weird with the multiple the Jets kind of really took it to the Sharks for a little bit. They had a power play beginning of the third period, and then the Sharks earned that power play, and then the Jets power play / empty net. So there's a little bit of kind of extended time there at the end for the Sharks not to have a lot of 5v5 time. But that's Mackenzie Blackwood kind of stepping up for the Sharks when they needed it. So the Corsi goes basically Sharks. It's like the roller coaster going up, right? And then it kind of evens out for the Jets. But Sharks did a good job, though, of kind of getting to the net, and they got a bunch of high quality shots on the Jets. And then I think going back to the special teams, the Sharks did a good job of keeping the Jets on the perimeter on the special teams. Like there wasn't too many shots right in front of the net. Well, the Sharks were more kind of in the middle, like very, very high slot with their shots. The Jets were kind of a little bit all over and not those kind of golden chances that you would expect. So looking at the lines, so the lines end up being a little bit weird. Nico Sturm kind of hurt his wrist early in the, I think it was late second, early in the third, and missed a good chunk of the third period because of that wrist injury. So we'll see. The Sharks don't play again until Friday, so we'll see. Hopefully, gets a couple days rest here when they play the Arizona Coyotes. But lines for tonight, though. The Zetterlund, Granlund, Duclair line, which we have continued to see, has been until things stop working, don't break up that line. Eklund, Hurdle, Barabanov. Then we had Sturm, Hoffman, Bailey, and then Zadina, LeBanc, and then Luke Cunnin made his return. It seemed like he wasn't going to be available, but I guess he talked his way into it. So Jacob McDonald ended up being the scratch for these Sharks. Defense has basically been the same, especially with Benny now going on IR and Vlasic is away from the team with a personal issue. We don't know anything on that. So let's look at the lines the best we can. So Zetterlund, Granlund, Duclair, 10:55 time on ice at 5v5, 12 to 15 shot attempts, 5 to 7 actual shots. Expected goals for was 0.46 to 0.54, 7 to 10 scoring chances, 3 to 6 high danger chances, with 6-5-4 zone start. So fairly evenish on that one. The Eklund, Hurdle, Barabanov line, 436. 5 to 8 shot attempts. Actual shots was 1 to 6. 0.34 to 0.27 expected goals. So they maybe weren't getting the shots, but they were getting quality chances. And you'll see with 4 to 3 scoring chances and 2 to 1 high danger chances for that line. The Hoffman, Sturm, Bailey line, 4:18 time on ice. Unfortunately, we didn't get to see more, but this line was cooking tonight. 6 to 3 shot attempts, 3 to 1 actual shots. Did have the goal with Justin Bailey. Justin Bailey being really smart there, right? Covering for the defenseman, and then realizes he's got some open ice and just puts an absolute beautiful bar down shot there. Great job by him. But 0.32 expected goals for to 0.1 expected goals allowed. 5 to 2 scoring chances for 2 to nothing high danger chances. So if Sturm's healthy, I'd like to see that line together again, because that's some energy, right? Sturm, we know, is great defensively. Maybe Mike Hoffman not so much, but like those pieces kind of fit together, right? Mike Hoffman, kind of your float around, bam, I'm going to kind of be at the right spot at the right time. Justin Bailey with his speed, and Nico Sturm kind of being the glue guy, defensive guy on that line. I really like the thought and idea behind that line. So then we had Cunnin, Zadina, LeBanc, 149 time on ice. And again, the lines got really funky tonight, especially with Sturm being out. We saw kind of Hurdle. We saw a lot of guys kind of rotating around for that bottom six and guys getting some extra time there. 2 to 6 shot attempts, 2 to 6 actual shots on goal, 0.05 to 0.43 expected goals, 1 to 4 scoring chances, and gave up 2 high danger chances for that line. So, again, looking at kind of the way the Sharks won this game, they got a lot of energy from that third line, that Sturm line. Hurdle, I thought the Hurdle, Barabanov, Eklund line came out really well. They're one of the best lines tonight. And the same thing with the Granlund line. I thought that line was playing really well. Credit to the Jets, though. That's a good team, right? They kind of force things and work things back as we saw. They came back and beat Anaheim, being down 2 goals, just on Sunday. So as for McKenzie Blackwood tonight, 37 shots, 36 saves, 1 goal against, expected goals against 4.44, 973 save percentage, 11 for 11 high danger saves, 10 for 10 mid danger, and then 16 of 15. That weird Brendan Dillon. Blackwood just didn't see it. I mean, that was a fluky goal, but I thought Blackwood played really well tonight, especially with a lot of the adversity, right? You could tell his equipment just wasn't comfortable in his equipment tonight, but he battled through it. He was great tonight, and Sharks defense helped, right? Especially with the amount of kind of keeping things out on the outside with the low danger shots. But when Blackwood needed to make a save, Blackwood made huge save time and time again. And it's good to see both Capo Kakinen and Mackenzie Blackwood playing really well right now. And I don't know how far this team can go. Let's just enjoy the ride right now, especially if we start to potentially get the captain back here and just what this could do to the team. So we'll talk about Logan Couture here in a minute. So yeah. A new NHL season brings all sorts of possibilities abilities. Slippery Pete could score 50 goals. The Sharks maybe make the playoffs. We'll see. But you could win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our #1 choice for daily fantasy sports, especially daily fantasy hockey, because with Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contests. All you have to do is pick your favorite players or superstars, right? Maybe you want to pick guys like Ovechkin, Crosby, McKinnon. Maybe you want to pick some of your favorite players in the Sharks. Slippery Pete, Hurdle, Mikael Granlund. Just record more or less of their sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus and minus, and more in a given game. To win 100 times bet on Sleeper, you need to correctly predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard me, Sharks fans. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail your picks so you can start winning big. Use promo code LOCKEDONNHL and you'll get a $100 match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use for details and locational availability. Man, isn't it fun watching Sharks games right now? It's great. It's great. We're going to end the show talking about Logan Couture, who spoke with the media today for the first time in a couple months. And if you haven't read the quotes or anything, go search them out, because he talks a lot about kind of what he's gone through the past couple of months, right? He kind of opens up a little bit and is actually very vulnerable. You know, he talked about kind of the mental struggles he's had, right? These I think that's an aspect that we as fans kind of forget about a lot, is, these guys have basically been playing hockey since, they're 3 or 4, right? They've been on skates since they were, can barely walk. And for them to not have that as like part of their daily lives it's gotta be tough, right? Just like, how every day for these guys, most days, right? You get up, you go to the rink and you skate. And for Couture kind of dealing with this injury, he hasn't been specific about it, right? There's plenty of theories and stuff. The episode or the injury never required surgery. It's been about the healing, right? And that's what's been, I think, the tough thing for Couture is, a lot of times with surgeries, like if it's a broken bone, right? You're like, okay, cool. The bone breaks. We have surgery. We put it in a cast, whatever. Here's your timeline, right? 6 to 8 weeks or whatever. Assuming this is a soft tissue injury, and that's what I think has made this such a difficult process, is, one day it might feel great, and then you push it a little bit too far and you're basically back to square one. And I think that's what happened with Couture. But he talked about where he thought, I may never play in the NHL again. We're talking about Logan Couture, who's, one of the 10 best Sharks ever. Like you could make an argument, right? He's the captain of the Sharks. Has been in some of the biggest moments for the Sharks. Like you can't think about their, the Game 7 against Vegas without thinking about Logan Couture and, their run to the cup, right? How much of Logan Couture was the driving force in his ability. Like, guy was like a point per game player in the playoffs that year. But just the mental aspect of it for him, right? Of like not being able to do what you love and not being around the guys every day. And yes, you're in the locker room and stuff and like you're rehabbing and stuff, but you're not out there with them, right? You're not going on the road trips. You're not part of that bonding experience. And it's gotta be tough for him. But he talked today where he's feeling better. He's, physically, emotionally, spiritually, like he's feeling better. And he put himself at week to week as he's starting to skate right now. And they kind of talked about a little bit on the broadcast, right? Where you think about like the guys now, like we're 30 games into the NHL season. These guys are kind of used to the wear and tear of playing through, games. Whenever Couture does come back, it's going to be still a bit of a process for him, right? You can't just drop Couture in and be like, okay, go do Couture things, right? Looking at like Barabanov, missed terrible starts of the season, missed 5 weeks or whatever with his broken finger. And you're starting to see him kind of round back into form of the Barabanov that we know and love. But it's still, it takes playing games. And, So we'll see with Couture where he continues. I would say if everything goes well and he continues kind of rehabbing and kind of getting into it, and we'll start seeing him practice soon, hopefully, I think you can start maybe looking at mid-January-ish, I think, is a realistic timeline, right? He did say week to week, but that's about a month out, right? And that kind of gives you have to also account for a roster freeze that comes around Christmas. So but that's, I would say maybe you're looking at like January 10th through the 15th would be kind of my target for Couture to come back, and then get a couple games in, and then you get the All-Star break. So gives them kind of a couple weeks to kind of get into the flow, and then kind of hopefully by the time All-Star break hits, he can kind of come back and be closer to the Logan Couture we know and expect. But it's hats off to him for the work that he's been kind of going through, and did get to say got to spend some more time with his new baby, which is good, right? Another one of those underrated things that we don't think about as sports fans, right? A lot of times these guys, they have a baby and then 3 days, 2 or 3 days later, they're back playing again. When I had my kids, I didn't want to be more than 10 feet away from them, and I couldn't imagine just going back to work right away, even after my normal maternity leave or paternity leave, whatever. Going back to work right away, that felt like it was too soon. But hopefully we continue to see Couture be in the right frame of mind, right? And maybe now that he sees the light at the end of the tunnel, can make that final push to kind of being Logan Couture, and maybe jumping in this team at the right time, with this team playing as well as they are. And I talked about yesterday where I think they should slot him in, and it kind of sounds like from the broadcast it's probably going to be, at least they're guessing, to the hurdle Grandland Couture down the middle with Nico Sturm as your fourth. That's not too bad. Like, there's a lot of teams that wouldn't pass on that as your center depth right now. So but yeah, the Sharks team, man, it's really fun to watch them. They got some fun games coming up, right? You're playing Arizona on Friday. You got the Avs, who are, kind of a weird team this year, but have been able to kind of put some points on the board. So we'll see kind of where the Sharks team goes, but let's enjoy the ride right now, especially after the stink of the beginning of this season. And enjoy Slippery Pete, guys. William Eklund is going to be a superstar. So we'll be back tomorrow. We're going to do a World Juniors preview with our good friend Hattie Kalakash from over at Locked On NHL Prospects. So we're going to talk about kind of a big overview of World Juniors, why it matters for scouting. Then we're going to get into Sharks prospects and guys to keep an eye on for some of the 2024 draftees. Got a interview that I think you guys are going to really like coming up as well. Not going to spoil it yet, just because in case things fall through, but got an interview that's going to be probably dropping on for Friday's episode. If not, we'll pivot and figure out something else. So make sure you guys are following along for the Good Vibe Sharks wherever you get podcasts, and of course you can watch on YouTube as well. You can follow the show on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Threads. I still do. I haven't posted on Threads in a while, but social media at Locked On Sharks. You can follow me on Twitter at MyFryHole. Until tomorrow, bye, friends.